Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cripescast. This is the podcast where we talk to people for and or from the Midwest. We are brought to you by Jolly Good Soda, and here is today's episode. Hi, folks. It's another episode of the Cripescast, joined by Colleen Maraca here in the studio, executive producer of the podcast. How's it going,
Thanks
Colleen?
for having me. Good. How are you?
You ever play Musical Mondays?
I have a different Music Monday.
Musical Monday?
What's that?
It's where every time you talk to someone, you must imagine you are in a music hall. And you must not reply to anyone that does not reply in song.
Wow.
See, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
It's really annoying. I used to do it in this office I worked in. I did Musical Mondays, and I would do it and just annoyed the hell out of everyone around me because they need me from someone. They need something from me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I am sorry. Is that the wind I hear? So annoying.
And you wouldn't give up?
Nope. I just did it all.
I wonder why you got fired.
Ha! I didn't get fired. I got asked to leave without severance.
Nice.
Anyways, now I'm the boss, Colleen.
And we're gonna have musical Mondays.
I think for morale, I'm gonna not do that.
Yeah. Well, because my friends and I used to do Music Mondays, and it was a different thing. And
what is it? What was it?
So we used to lifeguard at a water park, and so after like our shift, we would go to TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
And there was this guy that used to work there that on Mondays he would do like covers of songs, but it would be like he would try to do it kind of discreetly enough that people would have to like guess the song and the artist. And so like we stumbled upon it one Monday, and then we got into it like really, really, really into it, and we'd go back every week. But then like the guy only knew so many songs, so we'd like wipe the floor.
So he would like play a cover song,
Yeah.
but he would change. Would he change like the arrangement
Or something.
Okay.
But, like 9 Inch Nails. Wait, there was a few that like we would all do it, and then this guy hated us for sure because we'd go every week, and then like one of us would win, and we'd go up to the mic and give an acceptance speech.
Oh my God. You guys are so extra.
And so then, shout out to Nick Perkins. He literally like gave me, like I thought I won, and then he was like, thanks to my brother for throwing the game, because his brother was throwing it for me, and he goes, and thanks to Colleen Maraca for counting all of her chickens counting all her eggs before they hatched. And it was like, and then he like mic dropped. He's like, you're an idiot. But yeah, so we would do that where you would go listen to like this guy do it on music. It was always Mondays at TGI Fridays.
Shout out to TGI Fridays.
Shout out Jesse Gonzalez.
Where?
You rock. In Burnsville, Minnesota. Speaking of Burnsville.
Oh, I'm going to be in Burnsville. That's right, folks. I'm coming to Burnsville. I'm coming to Missouri, doing shows in Springfield, Kansas City, Evansville, Las Vegas before the Packers play this weekekend.
Yep.
Las Vegas, you guys. Come on out to the show. I'm also going to be in Reading, Pennsylvania the day before or 2 days before on this Friday. Boy, oh boy, time flies like a banana.
But yeah, and speaking of Burnsville, you have an added show. We're doing 6 shows there. And then you added another show in Rochester, Minnesota, which is on the 21st of October. Burnsville's the 3rd of November. And then I
am a lucky buck.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for buying these tickets. I really do appreciate you. Why are you laughing at that? Did I cut you off?
We'll let the viewers at home decide.
I did cut you off, didn't I?
I saw this TikTok where it was like, oh, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours? Isn't that such a good way? Like, that's what we do with our family. We cut each other off. I don't care.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I
was spacing.
You're good.
I was in space, but you know what? I'm coming back to space, Colleen, because we got a great episode of the Cripescast. We are talking with Xavier Prather from Big Brother.
Yeah.
The 23rd season of Big Brother. He was the winner. He is a Milwaukee guy. First African American to win a regular season in the show's history.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good dude. We had a good. We live kind of close to each other, which is nice. And
you guys can go on hot girl walks together.
Hot girl walks.
Yeah.
What is that?
You just get your Stanley out and you wear a fanny pack and your sunnies and your hokas, and then you go take a little prance about town. You don't really build up a sweat. If you do, that's great, but it's really just more about the aesthetic.
I talked to him about going biking together.
Was he like biking?
He's got an electric bike. So
Okay.
I thought we could do a sketch, regular biker versus electric biker.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired. I'm sitting there and he's like, that's nothing, man. You know, I just bike 20 miles.
Yeah. But it's easier because it's on an electric bike.
Yeah. He's just wearing like jeans.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not breaking a sweat.
That's funny. I
I'm
like
into
that.
silly stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got to write that. Should do it soon before the weather changes.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I know.
It's
It's perfect today, though.
It is perfect today.
Yeah. Anywho, anything else before we dive into it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What?
It's October.
It is October, ladies and gentlemen, and boy, oh boy, do we got a deal for you. Colleen, what is the deal?
So on mantalkminute.com or cripescast.com, you click on merch. If you buy $100 or more of Mantalk Minute merch and you add the orange Ope beanie to your cart and use code Opetober, you'll get that beanie for free.
You get a free, and these are cool beanies. They're
Yeah.
made in the USA, blaze orange. It's a nice thing. So, just do your Christmas shopping now.
Yeah.
And you get a free hat to give to someone else for Christmas. Yep. You're saving some dough.
Yeah.
So for the folks who are thinking ahead, and by the way, we even have Christmas sweatshirts up there already. Christmas tree.
It's perfect for an ugly sweater Christmas party.
And watch out for
It's not ugly by any means. It's actually like really cute. But it had like, you know. I like it.
It's a little gauche.
It's good for like ugly sweater Christmas party.
I don't even know what gauche means. I just heard Taylor Swift say it once.
It's from Last Great American Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
Their parties were a little loud, or something, a little gauche.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a big Swiftie?
No. I'm not. I mean, I like a few of her songs, but
yeah,
I don't care.
Should we give them a taste of exile?
I can see you standing, honey, like it's just your understudy.
When Charlie,
so bad.
No, that's not bad. It's just there was like a month of time there. Whenever we'd go on shoots and stuff, you'd play that.
I'd be like humming
repeat.
it. I'd be humming it. Well, I was trying to learn. I was trying to use it as a singing. I was trying to try to sing like the Bon Iver guy because I was trying to work out that part of my voice, and it was right in the sweet spot. So
yeah. No, I get it. It's just that was just so goofy.
Yeah.
It was a goofy time.
Anyways, this intro's off the friggin' rails. Yeah. Let's get to my conversation with Xavier and everybody else. We'll see you soon. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a while. What were you doing right before you came here?
Right before I came here, I was working, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was shipping out a couple of emails just to make sure I got those away and make sure my plate is pretty clean before coming to do this real quick. So it just meant waking up a little bit earlier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for waking up a little earlier for us. We appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So you're back in Milwaukee now, and you're from Michigan, but basically you did Big Brother, and then you moved back to Michigan after that for a beat, and then kind of just hung out with your family. Was that kind of how you did it?
So after Big Brother, it was kind of trying to figure out where I was going to be. Because I had a lot of people trying to pull me to New York, people trying to pull me to LA, the bigger markets for, I guess, influencers or anything you want to do entertainment industry wise.
Yeah.
And I went and visited those places to kind of explore business opportunities. And ultimately, I was just like, that's not my energy.
Yeah.
New York is very loud and congested. And then LA is just kind of LA. So
you gotta really like your car in LA. You gotta really like the interior of your car.
Yeah. So like I was just kind of like, I don't see myself living in either of those places. So until I figure out what exactly I'm going to be doing, let me just go back home. I lived in Grand Rapids for I think about a year, and then I ended up reconnecting with my firm that I was with prior to going on Big Brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm ready to come back. I had still been doing some legal work part-time. But at that point in time, I was like, all right, I think I'm going to go back to the law full-time. I'd love to go back to my old firm. They welcomed me with open arms. And then from there, it was just kind of a matter of time before when my lease was up, then it was like, all right, I need to move back to Milwaukee.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, get more face-to-face time with the partners and stuff like that.
Sure. So like, how did you first hear about Big Brother?
Kind of because of Love Island. So I've been reached out to on Instagram to potentially be on Love Island. They have a member of the casting team like DM me. She was like, hey, I think you'd be like great for Love Island. Would you be interested in, applying or sending this information?
Okay, you're gonna have to pause right there. That just came out of the blue.
Yeah, like literally out of the blue. Like I hadn't watched Love Island at all whatsoever. I don't know.
How many followers did you have?
I was maybe pushing 2K.
2K?
I was maybe pushing 2K.
I thought you were saying 2 at first. I was like, okay.
2 whole followers.
Yeah.
My mom and my cousin.
So just random people, like basically a Facebook page. You've got, just your friends from over the years.
My friends from like schooling and basketball, pretty much, and like family. Those pretty much comprise my followers at the time. So it was very random.
Yeah.
But I did a little bit of modeling.
Oh.
I still do. So I think some of those pictures are kind of what
I see
enticed her.
I see. Good abs.
Okay, abs.
Okay.
Mostly I just Photoshop really well.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's really important.
If you're good technologically, you can get away with a lot.
You can. And soon we'll have AI that'll just do all of it for us.
Yeah. At this point, I don't feel like I need to model. I'll just send out an AI.
Yeah.
That's kind of me.
AI can do ab workouts for you, and then it's done and done.
Yeah.
So you have modeling photos, and you were a model in Milwaukee at that point, or
Chicago?
In Chicago?
My agency was in Chicago.
Which one?
Option One Models.
Oh, shout out to Option One.
Shout out to Option One. They take good care of me. And so Love Island, I was like, I haven't seen it, so let me go check it out. And at the time, it was on CBS All Access, which is now Paramount Plus.
Yep.
So I went and I checked it out. And as I was scrolling through kind of their television pages on the app, I saw Big Brother, and I was like, it looked vaguely familiar. I remember I used to watch it with my pops as a kid. And so I was like, okay, let me watch like an episode or two, see what that's about. And as I started like rewatching it, I was like, I think I would do like all right at this.
Yeah.
So I applied, and that application process is long. It's very long. Like it was as strenuous as filling out the application to get into the bar. Like it takes a lot. You got to know where you live. You got to know where you've been, every job you've had. Like it's a long process. It's a very long process. And you're interviewing different people within like kind of CBS's organization. And then once you make it to the end, you interview with like the big head honchos, executive producers and things like that. But yeah, I applied, kind of went through the process, and then before I knew it, I was getting kidnapped. It's kind of what we call it, because they take you from your home, and then from that point on, you have no contact with the outside world.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. Like, and then
they put a bag over your head when they take you, so you can't tell anyone.
You get a blindfold.
You get a blindfold.
Yeah, no, like it's like a cute kidnapping though.
Yeah,
like,
it's cute. It's like for the TV, for the tellies,
fun kidnapping. But like, yeah, so they take you away, and then you're put in this hotel for about up to like 10 days. And at the time I went on, COVID was still like pretty prominent. So you're getting a COVID test like pretty much every other day, because if you get COVID, you're probably not going to go in.
Yeah.
And then you're literally just like stuck in this hotel room.
Oh man.
Just chilling there until it's time for you to go in the house.
Where's the hotel at?
It was in LA. It was like near, so the Big Brother house is in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, and the hotel was near LA. So
got it.
I couldn't tell you where it was because I was blindfolded the whole time I went there.
Was it a nice hotel?
how nice can one hotel room really be? You know,
After
it wasn't
10 days of not talking to anyone else, it's going to be a prison anyway, even if it's the Ritz-Carlton.
I would say I was comfortable. Like they didn't like just throw us in, I don't know, like a Days Inn. Like it was a comfortable spot. It was just kind of 10 days there. But luckily I brought like a few books with me. I was able to do some puzzles, really get back into my childhood. That was fun. Yeah. And then next thing you know, they're taking you into the house and then you're trapped there I was in there for about 85 days.
Okay, so that's so much time. During all of this time, the kidnapping, being in the house, everything, is there, I know there's prize money at the end, which you got to, that.
You got a decent little chunk of change.
Chunk of that, whatever the IRS didn't take, you rocked them, head down.
Yep, immediate head down when you get to that.
But aside for that money, is there payment for anything else?
So each week that you're there, you get like a weekly stipend, essentially. And that's about, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but you get like a weekly stipend. I won't get into the specifics of how much, but it's not, I wouldn't say you're gonna like, retire.
Right.
But like they give you some compensation for each week that you're there. So there's kind of two phases throughout the game. There's what's called pre-jury and then jury. So if you make it to jury, you're guaranteed to get that weekly stipend for the duration of the show because they sequester you in a house to come back at the end. But if you go pre-jury, which is like the first, say, 5 to 6 evictions.
Yep.
If you go pre-jury, you get to return back to the normal world. So then you run out of that stipend because they're not still kind of catering for you. You return home.
Right.
So a lot of people's goal, or some people's goal with just going on the show, is to at least make it to jury. So that way they continue to receive that stipend for like the duration of the time.
Yeah.
But then if you go home pre-jury, it's kind of like, I got a little bit of stipend, then you're back at work in like 3 weeks.
Right.
Which is kind of like, was it worth it?
Yeah. So for people out there who have never seen Big Brother, can you give us the 1-2 sentence synopsis before we dive into your experience on the show specifically?
Big Brother is like the Truman Show meets summer camp.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much how I would describe it.
And you guys are all in one house.
Yep.
And the goal of the game is to
kick everyone else out.
Kick everyone else out.
Make sure everyone else goes insane and wants to leave, or you kick them out if they want to stay. It's the goal of the game is to be the last person kind of standing. Yeah. After all this time. Each week there's an eviction, there's competitions, there's kind of these wacky competitions each week. Like 1 week I had to wear a tutu to go and bowl up this ramp. It's different. Yeah. It's different. It's great. I'm very thankful for the experience. It was life-changing. But yeah, it's like I said, it's like true. Like the concept is like the Truman Show. The society's kind of watching you on this grand scale, but then like what you're doing when you're in there, it kind of feels like summer camp. Yeah. Like you're trying to find ways to pass time. Essentially, kind of like you have handlers who are like taking you to the competitions and making sure you guys aren't doing anything like bad. Like it's very unique. So if you want to, get a feel for what summer camp was like, watch Big Brother. And it happens during the summer, so it makes sense.
It's kind of fun in that way. Yeah,
100%.
What was the hardest thing about the experience?
Hardest thing was probably, I would say, one, being away from kind of like family and friends, no contact. So you really didn't know what was going on with your family while you're gone. Like you don't know if someone could have passed, someone could be hurt, like things like that. You aren't privy to it. Usually I think if it's serious enough, the producers will kind of pull back the veil and like allow you to kind of like let you know, hey, like your mom has passed or like your dad has passed. Luckily, I don't believe that we had that happen on my season, but I've seen it happen on other seasons where someone had a family member pass. And so they were then able to kind of make a decision on whether to stay or to go. But being away from family is tough. And then just kind of being in the house continually for 85 days straight, kind of playing the game. You don't really have a moment to turn it off because it's a very social game. It's designed to be a social experiment. Yeah. And so like you don't really have like an off day. And so you're 24/7, you're kind of scheming, wondering if people are backstabbing you. Like it's designed to make you lose your mind. essentially. And but that aspect, I don't know, kind of found that aspect fun.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah. So
it is really interesting though that kind of like why did you find it fun?
it was one, I think a lot of it has to do with my cast. I got lucky and had a cast full of like just really good people.
Yeah.
Really good people, really fun people. So that made it, I think, a very rewarding experience. Even if I had like lost, I still would have been thankful to have met those people. But also I kind of had the mentality of like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win before I even went in there. So like for me, when I was in there and like, if I felt like I needed to lie or backstab, I didn't feel so, I guess, personal. Not to say it never felt personal, but at times it was easy for me to kind of compartmentalize and just be like, look, this is just me playing crazy poker, like human poker. So it's like, you try to find ways to make fun of it, even though it's kind of a interesting experience.
That's really what it is. And everyone's in on the game.
Oh yeah. So there's no like anyone who goes in there, like, you know what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's also makes it kind of fun, is just because it's like, all right, who's going to get who first? So yeah, that was awesome. It was fun.
And a big part of your victory there was setting up your alliance, the Cookout Alliance.
Yeah, the Cookout Alliance, which is myself, Tiffany Mitchell, Kylan Young, Ozza Awesome, Hannah Chada, and Derek Frazier. Who set it up? That's a debate that's happened between Big D and Tiffany. So I'm gonna let them figure that out.
Okay.
But then I named it. I came up with the name for the Cookout, and then Tiffany Mitchell came up with kind of the plan that helped us, that pretty much set the foundation for how we were going to get all of us to Final Six. And we did.
What was that plan?
So the plan was essentially, we have our core alliance, which is us 6 individuals. And the goal was to find somebody outside of our alliance to have as kind of a buddy or a partner. So that way, in the event we were ever in danger of going home for like eviction, we could just sit next to our buddy, and then we would have enough votes to where we could vote out the buddy instead of us. So it gave you kind of a shield, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with that worked flawlessly as we kind of executed the strategy throughout the game until we all reached Final Six. And then once we got there, it was pretty much a free for all. Like,
yeah,
anybody can get it. It was
right.
What kind of the mentality we had, and fortunately, I was the last one left.
Well, and the goal of the Cookout Alliance was to essentially, I don't know if in the moment, but certainly it was to make history for the show Big Brother.
Yeah. So historically on Big Brother, house guests of color have not done particularly well. There's never, up until my season, there had never been a black winner on the show before, in the non-celebrity edition. Mm-hmm. The celebrity edition, Tamar Braxton won. Mm-hmm. But on the just kind of regular U.S. edition of Big Brother, a black person had never won. And I said before I even went into the house that it was going to be essentially my goal to either do what I can to help crown the next black winner or be that first black winner. And that was something that was important to me. So to get into the house and then find 5 like-minded individuals, it just made that goal seem far more feasible. It seemed like something that was actually tangible, where to a lot of past black house guests, it was something that was just kind of, I don't know, like almost like a fool's gold. Like they might think they have a chance, but they ultimately they didn't. And the goal of the Cookout was not only to ensure that we would get a first black winner, but it was also to kind of make sure that future house guests of color never feel like they're at a disadvantage when playing the game. You know, to make it to where like the Cookout should never happen again, because everyone feels like they're playing on a level playing field, and people aren't having these biases or having these microaggressions kind of influence and dictate how they're going to play the game. That was something that was very important to us. And we do feel like in some respects, we definitely accomplished and have impacted these future seasons. So,
I mean, that's got to feel good.
It does. It
to
does.
You. And then on top of that, as it got down to just you guys doing it, how did you then get to be the winner?
So prior to getting to Final Six, I've been focusing a lot on like having strong relationships within that group of 6. I had solid relationships with people outside of our alliance. Like I tried to treat everyone with kindness and respect. I didn't want to be a jerk to anybody. Like I tried to just generally be cool with everybody. But once we got to Final Six, I was trying to make sure I had it set up to where I had alliances within that alliance. Like I had a Final Three with Tiffany Mitchell and Hannah Chada. I had a Final Three with Derek Frazier and Ozzo Awasome. I had a Final Two with Kylan Young. I had a Final Two with Derek Frazier. I had a Final Three with Derek Frazier and Kylan Young. Like I had a lot of deals within that alliance to give me as much security as possible. So like when people are looking at taking shots, I'm hoping they're looking at everybody else. Yeah. Or I can at least point them in the direction of somebody else. And that's just kind of what continued to happen. And then it hit a certain point to where I just won every competition to get to the end. So that helped.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. And then you ended up winning. And I mean, were you surprised? Was this strategically, you're like, of course I won?
I wouldn't be so arrogant as to be like, of course I won. Like, no, I would say the time when I felt like, because I get this question a lot, which is like, when did you know you were going to win? I would say the time where I felt like I had a very good chance to win was after our second double eviction when Tiffany Mitchell and Hannah Chada went home. So at that point in time, it would have been, remaining in the house would have been myself, Kylan Young, Ozzo Awesome, Derek Frazier. And I felt like if I make it to the final two chairs and sit next to any of them, I probably win.
Yeah.
So that was, I would say around that time was when it felt very clear that I have a very good chance to win. And I had kind of set myself up to where like, even within that four, at some point, every single person in that four said they were going to take me to final two. So I was like kind of guaranteed final two if I didn't take myself there anyways, which was a very good feeling. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't be so arrogant to be like, I walked in the house and no one can hang with my stuff. So I'm just going to win. Like, nah, I'll leave that for Talladega Nights.
What did it feel like when you were finally crowned? When you finally won, what was it? Yeah. What was that feeling?
Kind of surreal. Like it's interesting because when I was in the house, I kind of would have like, I guess vision, so to speak, but I could like visualize seeing myself win. And when she actually like pulls up that final key, your name's on it, and you realize that you won, you kind of black out for a second. There's a lot of emotion that happens. You're happy, but you're also like kind of crying because you survived. Then you walk out and all the confetti comes down. But then you also see everyone else and you're like, okay, are you guys like pissed? Are you happy? Like what's our energy here? Yeah. But like, luckily it seemed like for the most part, everyone was thrilled, which was great. And yeah, it's kind of interesting because like you're in the house and so you have no idea how you're perceived. And that doesn't quite set in until you get back to the hotel room after, the finale happens. And then you can kind of sit down, you get your phone back. But I locked myself out of my phone because I couldn't remember my passcode. Oh, right. So like, yeah, I got the phone because after finale night, especially if you make it far in the game, you're on an interview circuit. So I was like interviewing I had a bunch of interviews right after the finale. And then that next morning from like 5 a.m. to probably like, I would say like 4 or 5 p.m. the next day. It was just straight interviews. I was zooming all over the country. Entertainment Tonight came and Kevin Frazier interviewed our whole alliance in person. And yeah, it was a whirlwind of all that. And I still couldn't get into my phone. So I was just kind of like, all right, well, maybe once I get into my phone, I'll be able to figure out how life is. And but yeah, it's weird because you come out and you have to kind of get reintegrated into society. Yeah. And for some people, that's a more difficult transition than others. For me, I didn't find it too difficult. Part of that is because when I was in there, I was just very conscious of the fact that like this is a show. Like some people, you get in there and you kind of, it becomes your reality. Yeah. And that's a hard kind of wall to break. For me, like if I'm walking in the house and all of a sudden I just hear a camera zoom in on me, it's like a constant reminder, in my opinion, that like, hey, you're still on camera, you're on TV, you're on TV 24/7. Which I think that's an aspect of the show I didn't bring up earlier, but we're on camera 24/7, every single room in the house, all day, every day. Which is a thing in and of itself. But yeah, so you get out of the house and you're trying to get reintegrated into society, figure out, you know, what did you miss? How were you perceived on the show? Like, were you hated? Were you loved? Like, it's a lot of information that you kind of have to get stimulated with in a very short period of time, and then figure out what life looks like after that.
Well, it's a very interesting social experiment for a couple of reasons. And I think one of the biggest ones is what you brought up here is everybody is off their phones. And we live in this society, which is we spend all of our time on our phones. And in a lot of ways, you know, this very fake setup that you have with all these other people, you may even have more of a real sort of idea in some ways of life in some ways that the rest of society, I think, maybe is lost since we're always on our phones. Did you feel any of that, or is that just sort of a thought that I have that doesn't quite translate?
No, I think you do feel some of that. I think you realize, or at least you're more conscious of maybe how in tune to technology you actually are. Because like, and it also gives you the chance to like appreciate, like, I don't know, going outside.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Like a lot of people, especially in today's society, I feel like they're so kind of wrapped up in technology and like games and things like that, that they forget like there's a big, beautiful world out there that is just like kind of waiting to be explored. Yeah. I think for a lot of people, they didn't really get outside until COVID hit. Because once COVID hit, I feel like that was the only kind of, I don't know, like a release that people would have, be able to go outside, go to the beach or go for a hike or something, just because they weren't able to do anything else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, with Big Brother, it was kind of like, you know, I think it was more realizing like, hey, I can survive without my phone for a little bit.
Yeah.
As long as it's in a controlled environment.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That would be a question you probably would have to ask everyone individually. I think it differs for each person. But generally, I do think you either gain a greater appreciation for your technology, or you gain a greater appreciation for being kind of off the grid.
Right. And what did you gain? Did you gain?
Oh, I appreciated being off the grid. I think like it was on national television, but like since being off the show, I kind of do what I can to prioritize having a certain level of privacy. I just because, and that's primarily because I was like on national television and was able to be watched 24/7. So like now when I come off, I kind of want to make sure those aspects of my life that are important to me, I just kind of keep them to myself or disclose them to the extent that I feel comfortable, you know?
Yeah.
Because once you become like a public figure, once you make private things public, it's very hard to get that back. I feel, especially in today's society. But if you kind of start off with more of an air of privacy, then you can kind of pick and choose what you would like to make public.
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? Like a comedian, a friend of mine, comedian, you know, said that too about like stories, right? Like I post a lot of videos or whatever, but stories about what you're doing on a daily basis. As soon as you start doing that, people are gonna maybe want more of that, and then maybe expect that. Now this time that you're spending when you're not doing all the other things, now even your personal time is in yours. Yeah. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough balance.
Yeah. So with you being a comedian, are you ever like nervous about things that you might post or things that you might say in like a stand-up show that could be like, quote unquote controversial at all?
Oh, I mean, there's so much of that. And a lot of my comedy is like, I'm not a shock comedian, or I'm not trying to there are comedians that it is their goal to push the boundaries of what is socially acceptable and what isn't. That's not really my thing. But of course, there are things that you say that could be clipped out, like just a segment and then taken out of context. But and that's why when you go to a comedy show, like you go see Dave Chappelle, they take your phone at the door. They actually have there's this whole business in the comedy world about having these little Ziploc locked bags.
Yeah, I went to a comedy show at I think, was it the Laugh? It was in New York. I went to a comedy show at, is it like the Laugh Cellar or something?
Comedy Cellar.
Comedy Cellar. Yeah. And we had to put our phones away.
Yep.
Before we even walked in.
Yep.
So, I definitely am familiar with that.
And that's kind of to, avoid that thing. But no, I try. It's not, everyone's got their angle, and my angle isn't very much so on that. It's more on the observational and sort of Midwest life and all that kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's how I knew who you were, because I've seen some of your skits regarding like Midwest stuff, which I've only lived in the Midwest throughout my life. So like, it's always funny when I hear like a debate between like soda and pop.
Yeah.
Like,
what'd you grow up calling it?
So like it was soda until I got to high school, and then it was pop. And I don't know why. That's just how it was. It was soda. Like a big thing that I used to drink growing up was Jones soda. I was a big fan of like the Jones soda, particularly the blue one.
Okay.
The blue Jones soda I had was like my favorite. And then I don't know, once I hit like high school, it was more of like Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Or like my dad's a big Faygo fan.
Okay.
So I had a lot of Faygo growing up. And I called those like it was a Faygo pop.
Yeah.
And it was, Mountain Dew's pop, Pepsi's pop, but I don't know why.
That's funny.
So.
Wait, now, what was the name of the soda you said you grew up with? I forget. Jones soda. Yeah, that's it. 100%. Nice.
And it says cane sugar soda.
Oh yeah, that's the legit stuff right there.
Yeah.
I don't know that I had that. Is that a Michigan thing?
It might be, but like I grew up in like up until about high school, I was in a small rural town, and those were like crack. Like anytime we could go to the local gas station, we would grab 2 or 3 Jones sodas and just kick them back.
Nice.
And it's literally just bubbly sugar. That's all it is.
That's kind of what Jolly Good. They actually sponsor the podcast, but that's kind of this like just a Wisconsin thing.
Okay.
I mean, you can get it online otherwise, but like I grew up with this stuff, and then it kind of went away for a little bit, and then they brought it back. But kind of the similar vibe. Excuse the interruption, ladies and gentlemen, but I would like to let you know about some amazing sponsors for this here Cripescast. First and foremost, Jolly Good Soda, title sponsor from Random Lake, Wisconsin. They are the perfect deal for a BOF floater and other concoctions. Do you know what a BOF is, Colleen?
I wrote this copy, so yes, I know what it is.
Well, what is it?
A brandy old fashioned.
Yes, I've never seen it abbreviated like that.
Oh, that's how we talk at the office.
You guys just see a BOF?
Because of the shirts and all that stuff.
Brandy old fashioned. I
BOF,
love it.
WOFD, TYFIS.
I thought that was a new concoction I never heard of. Never heard it called a boff.
A boff.
A boff.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be started. I'll have a brandy. I guess I don't even need to specify. I was going to say a brandy boff.
No. I'll take a boff.
Oh, you have me a boff. There you have it.
With that Jolly Good floater.
Oh yeah.
Take a boff off to the dock and just enjoy the lake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, that accent there.
Did that work? Was that good?
It's close.
I'm doing Minnesota with the boat. It's a little bit higher up.
A little higher up.
I'll take a boff onto the dock.
Yeah, I think you throw it away more.
What, boff?
Yeah, I think you say it.
Am I saying it too?
No, I think you say
aggressive?
it like you don't end the sentence there. Just say it like you're going to say more. Yeah, I'm going to take a boff over the deal there. And kind of drift off.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe you're doing great.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for any notes, so why am I giving them, white man?
No.
Anyways, Jolly Good Soda. Check them out, jollygoodsoda.com. Oh, and also, folks, hunting season is coming quick, and Fleet Farm has everything you need to make this year's hunt the best yet. Shop their huge selection of hunting gear, from firearms and decoys to camo apparel and trail cameras. Looking for tips and tricks on all things hunting? Check out their online almanac for an in-depth review and guides on hunting gear. And if you want to bring home that big buck this year, Fleet Farm is the place to go. for your everyday hunting essentials. And finally, folks, do you know it is Optober? We got your Optober deal here for hunting season. You get a free Blaze Orange hunting OPAT. Free, made in the USA. It's free. And you get it when you spend $100 or more on Cripescast.com. Just click on the merch section. So it's not really free, is it? Shut up. Yes, it is free when you spend $100 or more. Add it to your cart. Use the code OPTOBER and keep her moving and watch for deer. And if you see one and it's a nice one, sorry, Bambi. All right, back to the podcast. What was a small town that you grew up in?
Lawrence, Michigan. I was in Lawrence, Michigan from, I'd say like first grade up and through eighth grade. And then from there, I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan. And Kalamazoo, Michigan is where I consider like that's my hometown.
Yeah.
But Lawrence, Michigan definitely had like a part in my upbringing for sure. So I still like show them love and shout them out. But yeah, Lawrence was like a one stoplight kind of town.
Yeah.
Like, it was tiny. It was absolutely tiny. But, you know, a lot of my stepmother's family lived there.
Okay.
So that was kind of how we ended up in Lawrence.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice. And so, yeah, what did your folks do growing up and everything?
My dad was an accountant for a while, and then he does like kind of IT stuff as I started to get a little bit older. And then my birth mother typically works at like CVS and also does like some hair cutting. And then my stepmother was a banker. So like,
Gotcha.
yeah, pretty just, you know, normal jobs.
Yeah, normal stuff.
Yeah, nothing crazy. I definitely didn't have like a lawyer in the family prior to like in my parentals prior to me going to school. So, but yeah, my parents, I love my parents. They were great. It was a unique upbringing, but you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And were you playing ball from the get-go? Or?
Yeah. I got a baby picture of me holding basketball, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't even like walk yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, which makes me question. I was like, did I even like basketball? Or like, was it just forced on me? But yeah, I played ball from elementary all the way through college. And I played it up in middle school, and then high school, I went to Gull Lake High School, played there, was on varsity 3 years, signed to play basketball at Spring Arbor University near Jackson, Michigan. They were a Division II level school for the NAIA. Played there for 4 years, thought about going pro because, you know, LeBron was calling me. I was just like, all right, it's time to take my talents to wherever I need to go.
Yeah.
Ended up tearing my ACL. So that was kind of a bummer. And what really pissed me off about tearing the ACL isn't even like the injury. It was more so like when it happened, because it was the beginning of my junior season. I was having like a good year.
Yeah.
I was starting. I felt like at that point, I was kind of one of the main go-to guys on the team.
Yeah.
And we were winning, which was great. So, and it happened within the first 2 possessions of our first conference game. I went up, we had a play designed for me to go up and get an alley-oop. And I run around the back screen. I go up, and the defender was lagging behind me. The pass was a little bit late. So the defender's lagging behind me, and he kind of like pushes me just enough to where like when I landed, you know, the knee's supposed to go like that.
Yeah.
Mine went like that. And yeah,
man.
ACL was gone. And it's funny because like my coach always would have this saying. He would say, are you hurt or are you injured? Like if you're hurt, suck it up, get up, run down the floor. We'll get you some tape or something, give you some ibuprofen. You'll be fine.
Right.
But if you're injured, then like, okay, you need to sit it out because that probably means you need surgery. But because of that, it's forced like a lot of his players to develop a high pain tolerance.
Yeah.
So like I tried to get up. I tried to get up, and my leg wasn't like agreeing with me.
Oh man.
I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go back down for a second. And then like even when the trainer ended up coming out onto the court, tried to help me off, I didn't want to show that like I wasn't gonna come back out. So I like tried to like get him off of me and like walk, and that didn't work.
Oh, dude.
So the trainer ended up helping me off, and it was weird because right after it happened, like the swelling wasn't that bad. Mobility wasn't terrible. It obviously wasn't quite where it needed to be. They do like this lock test with your knee to see if it kind of catches.
Yeah.
And if there's like a little bit of of a gap there, then they know something's up. And that was the main thing for concern. So we ended up I went and saw like a specialist in Jackson who particularly deals with a lot of ACL injuries. And we got the MRI, and I was like, okay, well, it probably is like maybe a torn meniscus or something like that, but I don't think it's going to be the big one.
Yeah.
And the doctor comes back in, he's got the MRI results in his hand. He just said it very like just monotone, like he didn't care.
No bedside manner.
No bedside manner whatsoever. He came in, all right, young man, so it appears you tore your anterior cruciate ligament. And I was like,
English?
yeah, I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then I like pieced together anterior cruciate. And I was like, wait, I tore my ACL? And he was like, yep. I was like how bad? He was like, oh, full tear. It's gone. So yeah, that was tough because it was a good year. It was a good year. And then I was sidelined for I was sidelined for the rest of that year. And I had played in one more game than like would have allowed me for a medical red shirt. So in the NAI, I think if you had played in like 6 or 7 games, you were allowed a medical red shirt due to injury. And I had just played in like the 8th game. That was the beginning of the 8th game. So technically I didn't qualify for the medical red shirt. So I had to sit out that whole season. And then when next season came, I had to decide like, okay, do I feel ready to come back and play, or do I have to redshirt? Do I redshirt this season to try to get back to 100%? So I ended up having to redshirt the whole next season, and then came back the following year, which kind of sucked because like the class that I came in with, some of my best friends were in that 2016 graduating class. I had to redshirt in because of my injury. So I had to sit out, and then finally got to come back and finish out my season for the 2016-2017, or finish out my career for the 2016-2017 season.
So wait, I'm a little bit confused on this. The red shirt thing, what does that exactly mean?
So red shirting, if you get a medical red shirt, they basically, you maintain that year of like athletic eligibility.
Which means scholarship eligibility?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you can't physically play. Right. So you're like sitting out. So it maintains that eligibility, but you're just not playing. So I had to sit out for another year because I redshirted that what would have been my original senior year.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How did that change? Because at that point, you were thinking, oh, maybe I would go pro. Did that change sort of your schooling and your focus in schooling?
1,000%.
A bit? Yeah.
I think me tearing my ACL is a big reason why I'm a lawyer.
That's interesting.
100%. Because that was the first point in time, like, because up until that point, I was like, I'm going to go play overseas for however long I can play overseas. And it was looking like a very real possibility. Even after my injury, it still was a real possibility. But I never fully considered what I was going to do besides basketball up until that point. And so it forced me to kind of figure out, hey, clearly basketball doesn't last forever. So what's plan B? Mm-hmm. And at that same time, when I was recovering after having surgery, I took a business law course. And I enjoyed it. I found it challenging, and I also found it intellectually stimulating. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I could look at being a lawyer. I was getting my degree in criminal justice. I was always thinking I would be like Shamar Moore on SWAT, just a little bit tanner. And like, and it was like, my dad wasn't on board with that. Neither was my mom. She was like, it's my life, but I understand I don't really want to get shot. So maybe we look at being a lawyer. And then I ended up continuing to move forward with the process. I took the LSATs. I started clerking at a criminal defense firm in Kalamazoo, and I matriculated. I did my first year of law school at Valparaiso University School of Law, which no longer exists. So then I transferred to Marquette and did my last 2 years at Marquette.
Okay, got you. And that's kind of what brought you to Milwaukee. Now you're in Wisconsin, Michigan. Did you grow up a Lions fan?
Yes.
Wow. What's that been like?
It's a lot of frustration. It's a lot of broken TVs. It's a lot of broken video game controllers. It's a lot of broken. That's how I would categorize being a Lions fan. You're just broken.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like for the first time in like a long while, it's like, okay, we're pretty competitive here. Like, I know the Chiefs. Did the Chiefs lose again this past week? Yeah, they did. They lost to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're still the Chiefs.
Yep, they
that's,
are.
I was like, we're going to take that win. That's a good win. But yeah, I mean, like with being a Lions fan, you know, we had Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get Megatron.
Yeah.
And then Stafford goes and wins a ring with the Rams. And it's like, come on.
I know.
Yeah,
you
but-
are due one.
We need something like this. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like a Super Bowl, but give us like a couple playoff wins. Like, let us feel like, oh man, we could possibly just get far enough to lose again. Like, come on, give us a good feeling. But yeah, and then it's funny for me at work because everyone knows like I'm a Lions fan. My work is predominantly Packers fans.
Yeah,
and I remember like when I was first with the firm about a couple of years ago, we had this. Just like we all went out and got some pizza to watch the Packers and Lions game. And at halftime, I believe the Lions were up like 14-0.
Yeah.
I'm talking mad shit. I'm talking so much shit. I'm just like, you cheeseheads. This is pathetic. This is pathetic. Y'all not going to score. I'm pretty sure they won that game 28-14. Like the second half, the Packers came back and just destroyed us. And I went into work the next day and I didn't say anything. I was just like, maybe they won't even notice. Like, I'm here. They won't even notice. And then I go to my email, full. How about them Packers, huh?
You know what, though? You had to talk smack when you had the opportunity to talk smack. You guys, if you win a quarter, you got to start. Because when else are you going to get the opportunity to talk some smack?
I was like, you know what? I think the reason they lost is because like at halftime, I left and went back home. So I was like, I've seen everything I need to see. Let me go home. Yeah. They're going to handle the business in the second half. And I was like, me going home is probably why they lost. Like, if anything, you guys are lucky. Y'all are lucky that I went home because otherwise we would have whooped your ass.
I like that you're like employing your legal degree on why, the Lions should have some respect in this.
I use my legal degree to bullshit my way through life. My fiance loves it. Yeah. But yeah, it's being a Lions fan has been interesting. But I'm hoping, Goff at the helm. He seems like he's solid. We got some good young pieces, and it's just I'm like, all right, let's put something together here. Let's have a season to be proud of.
Yeah, I gotta say, after last season, I respect the heck out of the Lions, especially since you guys had no chance of getting into the playoffs, and your only Super Bowl was ensuring the Packers didn't get into the playoffs.
Yep,
and it was successful, and I gotta say, I respect it. I respect it.
So I'm assuming you're a Packers fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, big Packers fan. How do you feel about Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers? Okay, so first of all,
because I feel like people are really hot or cold with it when it comes to Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, initially when he went to the Jets, I was like, fine. I was like, great. Because I feel like we've been stuck in we've seen it time and again. We get to NFC Championship, lose it. When we couldn't even beat the Lions, no offense, to get into the playoffs, I was kind of over it at that point. I was like, we just got to change things up, Rodgers, look, I think Rodgers is a great entertainer. Even 4 plays on the Jets, goes out for the season. He does a post, saying it's always darkest before dawn. I will be back. I mean, you got to respect the guy who's like always, football's just BS entertainment, at some level. So people who are taking that entertainment to the next level or taking it outside, his podcast appearances or whatever, it's all fun. Yeah. But as a Packers fan, that's one level of looking at football. Yeah. As a Packers fan, there's this whole other level of like, I grew up as a kid, like if the Packers lost, I'd like go out to my tree and cry. I was that much of a loser, but and there's still some of that inside of me where so with Rodgers, I was just over him at the end of the day. Now, and I kind of had a little bit of a, I want to see, hey, you can't do it without the Packers. Yeah. But I didn't want to see it like this. I didn't want him to tear his Achilles and all that. But we'll see what happens next year. I think at the end of the day, he's a good entertainer. People like him or hate him. Yeah. They love him or they hate him. And I think that if you're an entertainer, that's that's kind of the deal. You know, it's kind of like the seeing the Big Brother thing sort of for what it is. And then like you get really invested in it. But at the end of the day, it's a game. It's a social experiment. You know,
the fans are passionate. I'm sorry, you still said go out and cry at your tree.
You're still thinking about that?
I'm just
Did you do that?
Well, no, if I would have did that, oh my gosh, I would populate so many forests. It would be fantastic. But if like it's funny when you're kind of in the industry a little bit, you kind of know how things work.
Yeah.
Seeing how passionate fans get.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are you so passionate about this? Like,
I know.
Like you know whether or not like the Packers win or lose, it really doesn't have any bearing on like what's going to happen in your life, unless you're like, you know, gambling your mortgage,
which some people are these days.
So I was like, so maybe, you know, you might need to realign your priorities. But like, if you generally, if they lose, like you'll be okay. Yeah, there's no need to, you know, start sending hate mail to the players like, hey, you cost me 5 fantasy points because you dropped that catch. It was like, is it that deep? Does it need to be that serious?
I know.
I can genuinely tell you he tried his best. I can almost guarantee you. Yeah. Unless they're shaving points like the longest yard or some shit.
I was going to ask before we rock and roll here. Being in Michigan, did you ever grow up thinking that you guys were the Mitten State?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
But
which you ever sounds so childish.
Yeah, thank you. What about Wisconsin though? Don't you think Wisconsin looks like a mitten a little bit?
Can we see a picture of Wisconsin, the state?
Can
I look at it real quick?
I'd be happy to let's pull that up.
Because Michigan is just bow. But I wish we had gone with like the glove. Like that just sounds a little more. Because, you know, Gary Payton and like. Right. But then on the negative side, you got like OJ. So like maybe the mitten is better.
See, look at that.
You're saying that looks like a.
It looks like a mitten. You know, you got Door County, that's your thumb, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
That's a hand. You know, I mean, look, it looks like, so you cut half your thumb on a table saw, sure. And then your pinky's a little swollen from that same injury somehow. And then, you know, you got your middle finger, right? Like up there by the Apostle Islands, you know?
Charlie, you might need glasses.
Well, no. Okay, now pull up Michigan. Come on.
Watch. You're going to see Michigan, and you're going to see a very prominent thumb and then the makings of some fingers. But, like, they're not lined up. But, like, you can see how it's a mitten.
Okay, all right.
That I saw a stick. Yeah. Look at that hand right there.
Okay.
If you go with just the Lower Peninsula, don't.
Oh, yeah. So that's.
If you go with just the Lower Peninsula, that's 100% like a winter mitten.
I'm going to give you that. Yeah. I'm going to give you that mitten.
So see, now that I look at this, what you were trying to sell Wisconsin, no.
Okay. No. I'll give you the mitten as long as Wisconsin gets the UP.
That does make more sense.
Yeah, that does make a lot more sense. Happy to be not the Mitten State.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be whatever shape Wisconsin plus the UP is. Because also, we're connected to the UP. You guys had to build that bridge.
Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did we just solve like the Michigan-Wisconsin rivalry? So like we get Mitten and you guys get the UP?
Yeah, that would solve it.
Can you imagine how many things would be just resolved if two men just sat down
and hashed it
out like good Midwesterners?
I know, seriously, we just solved. And you're a lawyer too, so you can probably make this happen.
Well, I might have to make a few calls, but
yeah. A few calls. That's all.
A few calls
that can be on your billboard.
Right. David Gruber. I used to work for him.
What's that?
I used to work for Gruber.
Did you work for Gruber?
Yeah, I was a law clerk at his law firm while I was in law school. I did it for most of my. So in law school, the grades are like 1L, 2L, 3L, which just stands for how many years you've been in law school.
Yeah.
So during my 2L year, which was my first year at Marquette, I was working for Gruber as a law clerk. And I clerked there all throughout the summer before I started working at my firm now, Reinhardt. But yeah. David,
how'd you like it?
I didn't mind it. The sports is definitely like the sports culture at Gruber is very prominent. Like,
oh yeah,
there's sports memorabilia everywhere. Everyone watches all the teams. Like, it's very cool. David's a good dude. Nancy is definitely like, she's kind of like when I view Gruber, like Nancy's definitely like the heavy. Like she's
oh yeah,
and she's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then their son, Steven, former basketball player too. Super cool guy.
Is it really just take one call? And like that?
Yeah, is it just one call?
Is it actually one call? This is what the people want to know. Is it actually one call and that's all? I'd say it depends. It depends on the situation. So yeah, nice little free plug for David and Nancy Gruber.
Yeah.
Got you guys.
And for those of you who are listening outside of the greater Milwaukee area, the Gruber billboards are one call, that's all. So there you have it. Now you have the full explanation.
Yeah.
Before we rock and roll here, we got some fan questions.
I have just questions in general, but we also have fan questions.
Let's do both.
Okay, so the Love Island.
Yeah.
Did you even think about doing Love Island?
Fuck no. No. Like I think I maybe entertained it when I was like watching the show. I was like, okay, this could be fun. And then as I started like actually digesting what it would mean to go on a reality dating show, and like I was like, whoever I'm like paired with on that show, I have to marry, because like I'm not gonna end up with somebody else and then them forever have footage of me like kissing, cuddling, or like, you know what I'm saying, for them forever have footage of me with another woman. Because like, I don't know, us be married for like 7 years, a random argument about how I left my oatmeal dish in the sink, and then all of a sudden I come out of the bathroom and all of a sudden Love Island's playing. I'm just like, yeah. I bet she didn't know you leave your oatmeal bowl in the sink. Yeah, I was just like, I just kept playing scenarios where I was just like, that's just no, I don't want that. So yeah, I was like, the only way I'm going on a reality dating show is if the woman that I end up with, I marry. And that's probably not going to happen. Yeah. So I don't got any business being on those shows.
All right, here it is, the reality TV rapid fire. How well do you think you would do on the following shows? The Challenge.
I went on the Challenge, actually. Yeah, I went on the Challenge USA. It's first season, CBS's installment, and I got sent home fourth.
Well, we know exactly how you would do there. Survivor.
So on the Challenge USA, you got people from a lot of the CBS shows. So like Big Brother, Survivor, Amazing Race, we all came together to compete on the challenge. And so after talking with some of the Survivor guys like Tyson Apostle, Danny McRae, I think I could, if I went and competed on Survivor, I think I could do well. Assuming people don't know who I am, because that was the issue on the challenge. But I think I could do well, but like battling just the terrain of trying to survive on an island, that sounds gruesome. From what they've told me, I'm just like, wow. They would be like in the ocean, like their soap was essentially sand, and I'm just like, ooh wee.
It's a good exfoliant.
Yeah. I was like, your skin's probably glistening.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably not smelling that great. And I like to smell good. So yeah, maybe that's just where I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you're not for the beach chic smell.
Nah.
It's like that one what was a Seinfeld episode where Kramer's like, I got the cologne, the beach, you know. It's like,
yeah, that's not for me. If I'm gonna be on like a seashore, I'm just gonna sell seashells with Sally.
Like Sally.
Sally
on the seashore. Mm-hmm. I think we already know the answer to this, but Bachelor, Bachelorette.
No.
Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. How are you at cooking?
I am a very, surprisingly enough.
You just did this?
Surprisingly enough, I am a very, very good at letting my fiance cook. I'm so good at that. Like she throws it down and I'm right there like, whoa, you killing it, baby. Like that's, that looked good.
Where'd you meet your fiance?
So we met back in Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. We first connected, like we were friends for several years before we actually decided to like start dating. Because we first kind of connected on Instagram, but when we actually met, it was in Michigan.
Oh, wait, connect on Instagram. Who slid into whose DMs?
This is going to cause a fight. Who slid into whose DMs? Here's the thing, John. Here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
I have to sleep with this woman every day when we go to bed at night. Yeah. So I'm gonna say whoever slid in that she says slid in first is who slid in the DMs first.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? You are a lawyer.
You know. At times, I'm learning.
I like it. All right. America's Next Top Model.
Would I do it?
Yeah, and would you do it? And if you did, how would you do?
It's funny. I had a friend who went on there. I don't know that I would do it because I feel like I'm like, Midwest okay, but like those guys are like, top tier. They all look like they could be like a Hemsworth type, if you will, or like Michael B. Jordan. I don't know that I'm on that level. So like, I would say if I went on, I think I might be like entertaining, but that's probably, I don't know that I would win.
Well, I think you're selling yourself short on that one. Okay. But I think that's a strategic play in case you do end up on that show at some point. Then you're setting the bar low so you can runway walk right over it. Naked and Afraid.
Who did that? Is that the show? No, Natalie did Dating Naked. I have a friend who lives in Milwaukee too. She was on the reality show Dating Naked, Natalie Jensen. But Naked and Afraid, is that just like you're naked and in the woods?
Yeah.
Like it's the Survivor, but like you're naked.
Oh yeah. No. Are you kidding me? With all like the critters and stuff? I've got too many cracks and holes nope. Hell no.
One of my buddies has a friend whose job it is. He's an editor in Los Angeles, and his job is just to edit out the bits and pieces on Naked and Afraid.
What's that like? Like,
it's a lot of
just skin everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of like, it's an easier job when it's cold outside, though, I've heard. So if you went back today, do you think you could win the thing again?
If I went back today, do I think I could win Big Brother?
Mm-hmm.
I get asked this question a lot. I think if I went back and people didn't know who I was, I think I could do well. But I think if I went back and people knew who I was, it would definitely be more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Which I've like stated that the only way I would ever go back into the house would be if they did like an all winter season.
Right.
Because that's the only way I feel like things would kind of be, everyone's kind of playing on the same playing field. Whereas like if you did like a mixed season with some returners and some newbies, everyone's going to have incentive to want to take you out because you previously won. So it's like, you don't need any more money.
Yeah.
So, I think if it was a cast that didn't know who I was, I think I would do all right. If they know who I am, I'm probably gone pre-jury.
Are you sick of PB&Js? Never.
I don't eat them as much anymore. I'm trying to work on a diet right now, but PB&Js are fantastic.
Have you ever had a grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
I've never had one. People have told me that they're like the bomb.
My mom used to make those. Favorite thing to eat.
Really?
Yeah.
Now what? Like, I don't know. Whenever I think of anything grilled, the first thing that comes to mind is like grilled cheese.
Yeah, it's like a grilled cheese, but with peanut butter and jelly.
How does that make sense though?
It makes you
because like grilled cheese is very different from like peanut butter and jelly. So I'm like, if you grill peanut butter and jelly, I can't see it being good, but everyone says like it's bomb.
It's phenomenal. The only thing you got to be cautious of is burning your tongue on the hot jelly. Because it
makes sense.
Yeah, so just caution. If you could change one thing about Big Brother, what would it be?
If I could change one thing about Big Brother, honestly, I would say, no offense to anybody on the Big Brother team, but I would want them to kind of change how it's edited. I think right now, I love the show. I'm thankful for the show, but I think they could edit it to make it maybe almost a little more serious at times. I feel like sometimes it's a little too summer camp, kind of too wacky. If that makes sense. And I think at times they can like maybe make it a little more like serious, like maybe like something like The Challenge, or maybe something like when Survivor, when they do their confessionals, it's raw.
Right.
And I think Big Brother could probably do something kind of similar just to appeal to more audiences than what their diehard Big Brother fans.
Right.
So yeah, I would say maybe they could change like the way the show is edited to maybe mature it up a little bit.
Got you.
Yeah. But I mean, how it is now is fine, but that would be maybe something that I would try to change if I was like big, powerful at CBS, but I am not. So what you're doing is just great.
Well, one day. What did you do with the money?
First thing I did with the money was I started a trust fund, essentially our college fund, for my nephew.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
just before I went on the show, my older brother, Arion Jennings, had a heart attack and died.
Oh.
That happened about 2 months before I left. I was debating on whether or not to even go on the show.
Oh man.
And so when he passed, he left behind a son, my nephew.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my driving force throughout my season.
Yeah.
Was like, I want to win this money to be able to like kind of make sure that my nephew's good.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing I did. I got a financial team together. I was like, hey, look, I want to set aside some money for my nephew. Start that fund, and it's something that I can continually add to over the years, just to make sure, like, let's say he wants to go to college is taken care of. Let's say he, I don't know, wants to start a business. I would need to be like, well, what is it?
Yeah.
But like, I want him to be able to have avenues to do things, and I don't want finances to be something that holds him back.
Yeah.
I can never bring his father back, but if there's a way that I can feel like I can do right by him,
Yeah.
I feel like I owe that to like who my older brother meant to me.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that I did. I got my dad courtside seats for the Detroit Pistons. He's a big Pistons fan, so got him some courtside seats.
Nice. That probably didn't cost a ton. That's a joke. That's a
It's-
Pistons joke. That's a Pistons joke.
Yeah,
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, so that was.
Did you go with them?
No, I let him take his wife.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't care to go. I was just like, I want you to be able to experience it. I'm sure I'll try to find a way to make it happen at some point if I don't go myself. But so I did that. I bought a car, and a lot of it I was looking to just more so invest or put to the side.
Yeah.
Because I knew come June a lot of it was going to be gone.
Yeah.
I paid off my student loan debt, which was big.
Yeah.
That was a big one. That was one of the ones where it was like, I was like, I mean, I could just make payments, but to just take out this like mountain of student loan debt that I've accumulated from like 20 years of school, it was just it was one of those things that like after I did it, it hurt, but it was also kind of like, oof, it's nice to not have that anymore. So that was definitely a big kind of sign of relief, and a big benefit from winning the show was getting rid of that. And then after that, some of it was traveling. A lot of it was putting it to the side, trying to be smart with money. But yeah, that's what I did.
Very cool. And I guess really my last question here is now, I mean, you won Big Brother, successful lawyer here in Milwaukee, your fiance, you're getting married soon. What do you see as sort of your goal past here? Do you want to get back in the media a little bit more? Do you like sort of living under the radar?
So I definitely enjoy kind of being under the radar. I think that's just more of my energy. But I also want to do what I can to kind of take advantage of this newfound notoriety that I kind of got from being on TV.
Yeah.
I never wanted reality TV to be my career. It doesn't mean I would turn down any reality TV shows in the future. There are definitely some shows I think it would be fun to try, like Amazing Race, The Mole, The Circle. Those all seem like shows that would be like kind of fun to try. But I'm also at the point in my life now where like I need it to make sense, because I don't want me going on TV to ever jeopardize anything I'm doing outside of TV.
Right.
And outside of TV, I'm trying to pursue, just different endeavors, and just using kind of my newfound. I don't think it's fame, and I don't call myself a celebrity, but just call it newfound notoriety.
Yeah, sure.
I got some projects that I'm kind of working on right now. They're still in the beginning stages, so I don't like to talk on them too much. But definitely got some things I'm working on outside of the world of reality TV that I'm hoping will come to fruition and be fruitful.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a real pleasure, man. We appreciate you coming on. And my last thing, is there anything I didn't ask about that you're like, dang, I wish you would have asked about that?
No.
Okay.
No. You didn't ask about my cat, which he gets enough attention from my fans.
No, let's ask about your cat, actually. I totally forgot about that. Thank you. How is your kitty cat?
He's good. He's just a little menace is what he is. It's weird. Like when we're at home, he always tries to like nip at my fiance's feet. I don't really know why. Like he views her feet as like his playthings, but like he never tries to come at my feet.
Well,
I was like, so either he's saying like my feet stink, or he's just like, I don't know. He just views you as like his new toy.
maybe he went for your feet early on, and you showed him what would happen if that was the case. You know,
I'm just like, honestly, it's one of those things where I'm like, look, that's between your relationship with him. You guys resolve that. However, y'all need to resolve that. He's not doing it to me. Yeah. So that feels like more of a you and him problem.
That's a very non-codependent deal you have going on with your cat and your fiance. I like it. Very healthy.
Everyone's their own person in my household.
Well, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure having you on.
It's been a blast. I'm glad we were able to make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Milwaukee people got to stick together.
Hell yeah, man. And we got to get you to sign the wall now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it. That is it for my conversation with Xavier. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you follow him. Colleen, where can you follow him?
Follow Xavier on Instagram, Xavier E. Prather. Don't forget the E in there. And then also you can follow us on all platforms at Cripescast, at Charlie Barons, at Manitowoc Minute. Find our show any place you get your podcasts and check out our exclusive content at patreon.com/Charlie Barons. Leave a review, comment, suggestion at cripescast.com in the chat box, and we'll see what we can do to make our show even better.
Oh, thank you. Colleen Maraca, a.k.a. Coco Maraca. I appreciate everything you're doing here. Shout out to Hannah Milos for editing this podcast. And thanks to all of you for listening and caring. We'll see you soon. Okay. Bye-bye. Watch for deer.
So roll out the barrel and get the band brewing. Life's got you down. Just keep her moving. It's on Wisconsin. The Badgers say it's the old Wisconsin Jubilee.
You know, sometimes when you're ice fishing, you put your foot in the walleye hole and go ass over tea kettle and you think you're done. No, you gotta keep her moving.